2024, latest sci-fi thriller blockbuster. People from the future are shocked. The astronauts staring at the screen are nervous, just because this is the first manned spacecraft launched in history. The debut of human spaceflight has already attracted the attention of the world. Fortunately, this plan was a success. After all the thrusters are separated, the pod quickly stabilized, but the astronauts who reported the good news didn't know. At this time, a large amount of space gravel, but it appeared near the intended flight path. The next second, one of them hits me very quickly. All the equipment lights in the cabin began to flash wildly in an instant, and before the astronauts respond, there are a few more gravel hit the aircraft head-on. Damaged aircraft, falling directly towards the Earth uncontrollably. Reggio immediately threw away the last section of the thruster, then quickly report the situation to the ground. But in the 1960s, the space system is still very backward. After the accident, communication signals have also become intermittent. There was no way to communicate effectively. The cockpit that quickly falls into the atmosphere. It burns rapidly under air friction. Equipment failure. Reggio can only see through the window. Estimate the distance to the ground. And Reggie was trying to press and eject at about the same time, but the ejection system shakes a little bit, and nothing happened. The robot is still falling rapidly and uncontrollably towards the ground. Reggie could only close his eyes in despair. Fortunately, he miraculously survived, but the brain trauma caused him to lose all memory, only the profound picture before the crash. It made him realize he was an astronaut, the doctor said, because Reggio was the first man in space, so all his actions are state secrets. Therefore, any visits and outings are prohibited during the recovery period. At first Ray didn't care, but gradually, he sensed something was wrong. Reggio found that not only were all the hospital windows locked, it was even painted white to block the view outside the window, and the doctor's explanation for this is to prevent spies from peeping in. But he found more than that. Late one night, the hungry nurse is getting ready for supper. After seeing Reggio, they hide the food in panic. He saw this and lied that he had finished his medicine. Immediately after the nurse left, he opened the drawer. It was food he had never seen before. Reggio began to look around curiously. I found that apart from myself, the rest of the wards are all fake. Feeling abnormal, he immediately increased the search area. Exquisite empty cigarette cases in public toilets, and the shriveled cans in the trash can. These are his elites, never seen before. All kinds of strange situations made Leger immediately vigilant. He pretended nonchalantly to take the medicine handed over by the nurse. In fact, it was contained in the mouth and not swallowed. Then he quickly vomited after he left. Before the other party's intentions are clear, Reggio decides to tolerate. Soon he found out. Doctors often use space photos to make them recall details. Said it would help his memory recover. And high pressure. It did make Reggio's mind start flashing memories. He remembered that the leader had said, the landing system is unstable. It may appear then. It does not match the scheduled landing position. He needs to do it well. Worst case scenario of landing in a hostile country. Thinking of this, Reggio immediately said, flight details can only be reported to the immediate supervisor, just because he speculated that he should be unlucky. Landed in a hostile country. The purpose of the other party is to obtain space intelligence. To confirm speculation, he decided to test it out. In recent flashbacks, there happens to be a picture of the ID card spilling the ink. He immediately asked the doctor to get himself a new ID card. Although the next day, the document with the official seal was delivered to him, but Reggio, who has already decided in his heart, they still believe they are in enemy territory. The certificate shows that the other party's power is very powerful. From then on, Reggio began to focus on restoring his physical fitness, prepare for escape. Soon it was late at night. A month later, well prepared, he slipped out of the ward while the nurse was dozing off, then quickly went to the toilet, unscrewed with a knife that has been hidden 4 days. Then he flipped out the window and went outside the building, and then scraped the eaves of the house and carefully moved to the distant pipe. Finally, he climbed down the pipe quietly. Reggio escaped like this. There is a couple kissing on the street at this time. He doesn't care about embarrassment. Directly in English, interrogator here is male. But the little couple thought each other was making trouble. They're listening to it. Directly teasing Chicago. Ha ha ha. And this further confirmed Reggio's conjecture. But right now, he heard someone speaking in Russian. Although the woman talks to herself in the air, make Reggio feel weird. But he still stopped after the other party stopped. Quickly approach and strike up a conversation. Reggio wants women to take him to the Soviet consulate. He also said that he would never report that he had defected to a hostile country. The next second, when Ray woke up again, already in a pharmacy. When the boss saw this, he immediately said that he had called the police. Tell it not to move.
Зачем полиция? Я вас не осуждаю. Наверное, у вас были причины здесь оказаться. Просто помогите мне, и потом я помогу вам. Я вас вытащу.
But they were both puzzled by his words. Brother Lay had no choice but to wait quietly for the police to arrive. Just at this moment, the boss received a call back from the police. Reggio can not only pick up on that grass object, the phone arrived. Mood is more pair. Fang was shocked by the time of confirmation. He slowly turned his head to look at the calendar hanging on the wall. Only then did I realize with hindsight that it was 2023, but he was in 1960 a month ago. The sudden change made Lei Ji's brain confused. He got up in a hurry and fled the place. And after walking out of this remote alley, Rejo just saw it. A modern neighborhood in the distance is brightly lit. Cheshire long, obviously not a level that could be achieved in his era. Confusion and fear of the unknown overwhelmed Rejo. I can only stay in this relatively familiar alley, shivering, after Sister Dan, who just got off the night shift, saw it. He hurriedly went forward to ask, Rejo, who needs someone to talk to urgently? Speak out about yourself. In order to convince him, he also took out his documents.
То есть тебе 89 лет?
Although Sister Dan still doesn't quite believe it. But look at Rego's pitiful homeless appearance. It was a kind decision to take him home first, because he also has a younger brother who is proficient in computers. Sister Dan hopes to use this to help solve the mystery. After investigation, Arway found that there is no astronaut named Rejo at all. The other party is a liar at all. Even if everything is as he says, it should also be some kind of secret experiment conducted by the official, and Ray was deliberately guided. Make him believe he is the fictional person. If the truth guesses that, now the two have been caught up in a huge crisis. The other side, the confused Ray recalled some fragments again, then a woman, and a building with a room number. He felt that he should go here to find clues. After hearing this, Sister Dan immediately pulled him and rushed over. Leger rang the doorbell in his memory nervously. The woman who opened the door really made no impression on him, but he's just the homeowner's assistant. When Rejo meets the real homeowner, memory immediately come to mind. This person is actually with his wife Lisa. They look identical, but after asking, I learned that the woman's name was Anna. Never seen her. I don't know a girl named Lisa. Ray just reacted. One no longer belonged to this era. After apologizing in a panic, he quickly fled the place. And what's even more hopeless is, in recent years, the world's aerospace technology has developed by leaps and bounds. He's proud of his skills and experience. Not worth mentioning, obviously, the purpose of that weird hospital before. It's not for aerospace intelligence. Faith collapses completely. Rejo is disheartened, decided to throw himself into the net, return to the hospital, and solve all the mysteries. But when Ray comes back again, but found that this place has long been empty, as if everything I experienced before was a dream. So he hid the knife in the window when he escaped. I finally proved that I am not mentally ill. On the other hand, Anna always felt that Rejo was familiar. At this time, he suddenly remembered that his grandmother's name happened to be Lisa. He quickly rummaged through the old photos at home. Soon I found a photo of Rejo and his grandmother. At this time, the other party is still confused and can't make sense of his thoughts. But suddenly, I saw a figure not far away that was extremely familiar. That person. It turned out to be one of the nurses who treated him at the time. The woman also saw Ray at this time. He said nothing. Jump out of the restaurant quickly with vigorous skills. Ray hurriedly chased after him when he saw this. The two of you chase me like this, chasing in the streets. But just as Ray was about to catch up with him, there was a harsh gunshot ahead. I saw that the woman was shot in the dark. At this time, Sister Dan also heard the sound and rushed over. He quickly picked up the woman's phone and woke up Rejo, who still hadn't recovered, and fled the place. After returning home, I cracked the password through technology. I found that my phone was full of candid photos of Rejo, even the people he came into contact with recently. Arway immediately smashed the phone when he saw this. He's afraid there's a tracker hidden inside. It's obvious. What he feared was that it would eventually come true. Arway hurriedly called a few people to pack up and run away. But Rejo thinks that once they leave, Anna must be in danger. He can't just leave each other alone. There is no way. Arway can only give Leiji's mobile phone, let him meet at the telex after picking up Anna. Soon Ray found each other again, and brief him on the current dangerous situation. But just as Anna was hesitating whether to go with Rejo, a group of fierce strong men got out of the car and approached. Seeing this, the two immediately fled through the back door, before the bus closes, escaped the enemy's pursuit. And the reason why Anna believed Rejo so easily, just because he guessed the other party may be the grandfather he has never met. But unfortunately, Lisa passed away a year ago. Before he died, he kept talking about Rejo. Hearing this, Ray went to the corner in a mess. Now, he finally remembered every detail of himself and his wife. Rejo walked back in despair. Make your heart miserable. All to a granddaughter her age. But gradually he felt that something was wrong. No matter what you say, Anna lay there without responding, and he tries and touches it. Next second, the strange woman with short hair sat up in panic. He thought he had met a pervert. He hurriedly got up in fear and walked away from here. This scene directly dries into Rego's brain. He began to suspect that Anna might have imagined it herself. Thinking of this, Leger quickly called Sister Dan. The other party is real. After hearing that, he quickly said that he would be abandoned in that building first, abandon the hospital and meet again. Cleats waited half a day. The siblings did not appear either. Instead, It was the mysterious people who came. Reggio immediately realized that he might have been betrayed. He hurriedly fled in the building regardless of the way. But in the end, still blocked on the rooftop by the prepared crowd, Ray sees the Doctor again. They finally solved all the mysteries. Original. When the manned spacecraft first went into space in 1960, Reggio's aircraft did have an accident, but the flight went out of control, but crashed in the depths of an ocean that is almost impossible for humans to rescue. The cold temperatures froze it for 60 years, until 3 months ago. It was discovered unexpectedly due to changes in the Earth's crust. It stands to reason his bodily functions should have been damaged by the hypothermia long ago. But inside the spacesuit that Reggio was wearing, there are substances that adjust the temperature. That's why he keeps his balance miraculously, achieves some kind of slumber, and this unrepeatable medical miracle. That's what the official wants. Worried about the subject's fragile nervous system may not be able to withstand reality, they purposely created the environment that Reggio was familiar with in the last century, and implanted microchips in their bodies for monitoring. But soon found Reggio's recovery effect is not ideal. Finally decided to take an extreme approach, manufacturing a high-pressure environment. All the strangeness he sensed, they are all flaws deliberately left by the official. I didn't expect this. Sure enough, it started to activate Reggio's brain cells, and from start to finish, his every move is planned. The official deliberately let him go, is to expose itself to reality. Everyone approaching Reggio in the back. It's all officially arranged. Purpose, just to gradually stimulate his consciousness.
Она была.
Конечно, она существует.
Everything is fake, but only Anna is really Reggio's granddaughter. After hearing so incredible, she volunteered immediately after the fact. I want to help my poor grandfather.
Может быть, у вас есть еще какие-нибудь вопросы? Что со мной будет дальше?
Official commitment. After he completes his recovery, he will no longer interfere with freedom. Just let them keep monitoring Reggio's condition. But disheartened, he thought, I can't fit into this new world. Even the vaunted knowledge of spaceflight is outdated. The Doctor reassured Reggio to think from another angle. There's a couple of researchers to live to see technology change. What's more, there is a relative who has always cared about him. Looking at the photo of myself and my wife, Reggio finally let go of the knot. Reinvigorate. He decided to combine his experience with cutting-edge technology, entering the space industry again, revisiting the great history of spaceflight. Leave your own strong ink and color.